Hey guys, Will West here, and you're watching Invest with Will West. Listen, there is something crucial you have to know before opening any accounts related to money ever. If it's your first time here, I'm Will West and I want to teach you what I have learned about investing during the past decade. Before even starting investing, it's at utmost importance to understand how to secure your money-related accounts. Watch this video to see 3 simple and extremely effective tips how to keep your investing accounts safe from any bad guys or wrongdoers. If this is your first time here and you want to learn new investing related stuff, ideas and lesser known tips, make sure to tap that subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss anything important. With that out of the way, are you sure you are doing all you can to keep your investing accounts safe? In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 tips that you can easily implement right now and should recommend to all your friends and family members to do so as well in order to greatly reduce the chance of having your accounts compromised by third parties. Be sure to watch until the end because I will share another bonus tip that will help you keep your investments safe and secure and a quick way to check if your account has already been compromised. You won't want to miss this one. Without wasting much time, let's start off with tip number 1. Use a different password on every site you join, and especially on any sites involving money like online bank accounts, crypto exchanges, and stockbroker accounts. A worryingly large amount of people use the same password for everything they do online. Let me explain why this is a really bad idea. You may have noticed how often we encounter data breaches recently. Between January and September 2019, there were over 7.9 billion data records exposed, a 33% increase from the same time in 2011. These data breaches affect not only your average small outdated message board, but also huge companies like Microsoft, FGM Resorts, Walgreens, T-Mobile, and others. And often these data breaches expose full identity, including the first name, last name, your email address, even password and social ID numbers. These databases get published online and everyone can easily browse through them and immediately see your email account and all the related information for the specific database entry. First thing the hackers try to do is to use your password from the data breach to gain access to your email. Even though sites like Google have safeguards in place that check for strange behaviors and location data, it is still possible to spoof that and gain access to your email, thus compromising all the other accounts registered with it. Well, what can be done about this? First of all, always make sure you have set a unique and hard password for all of your accounts, especially for your main email account. How to set hard passwords that you can actually remember? Well, there are different methods. Some suggest using a password manager like LastPass, or you can use 4 random common words. Just make sure that the password indicator on the website you're registering with indicates it as a hard password, and make sure you won't forget it or lose it. Now it's time for tip number 2. Use an entirely different email account for your money-related accounts. Also, do not use your first and last names in the mail, use random words instead, so that the email is hard to guess. Most people use 1 or maybe 2 email accounts at most, one for normal websites and the second one for more spammier ones. If you really want to keep your online broker accounts, bank accounts, or cryptocurrency exchange accounts safe, this is not the best idea, since you will still be using the main account with different services, and this exposes you to the data breach we talked about earlier before. To be really safe, you should use a unique email account that you don't really use for anything else other than your crypto exchange or online broker or bank. You can add a forwarding email address to your main account to make sure you always receive any important correspondence from this broker, but to be safe, delete these mails after you have read them, clean the trash and delete any sent mails as well. Hopefully you don't think I'm entering into tinfoil territory now, but times are tough and you gotta do what you gotta do to stay safe. Do not add a recovery phone for your new email. If Gmail or other provider asks you to register with one, add it to confirm the email and then remove it afterwards. You can do something way safer instead, which brings us to our next point. The third tip is to use 2-factor authentication, but not the phone-based one. Why you shouldn't use your phone? Well, let's begin with the premise that your phone number will be hijacked by social engineers. Scary, right? They will use your number to gain access to every account you own that utilizes phone-based authentication and account recovery, like your email, for example. They will then use that access and information to compromise even more accounts and harass, steal, blackmail, and extort you and your associates. This is not science fiction. There have been many cases of this happening in the United States, where telco operators were fooled into giving criminals access to your SIM card and thus access to your cell phone number. I won't go into details in this video as there is a lot to talk about, but just remember this: your phone is not safe. So please, remove your phone as a recovery method for your Gmail, social media accounts, and everywhere you can, basically. Separate it from security functions whenever and wherever possible. There is something way better you can do, which is using a Google Authenticator app. Google Authenticator app is probably the easiest for average person to use. Just download it from Google Play on Android or App Store on Apple. Gmail and almost all major mail services and websites offer two-factor authentication using the Google Authenticator app. You are given a QR code to scan and the app will generate a secondary code to enter every time you log in. This way an attacker would not be able to access your account without having access to your device. You might be thinking now, well, what if I lose my device? Will I get locked out of my accounts? And this is where backups, recovery codes, and second devices come into play. Download and print your recovery codes for any sensitive accounts you have and store them in a safe place. In case of losing your device with Google Authenticator app installed, I suggest using a second locked device to duplicate Google Authenticator app and all two-factor codes, so you always have a backup available. This way, even if you lose your device or it gets stolen, you can access another backup device at home and use that for two-factor codes. Make sure your devices are secured by PIN that only you know, or the new Face ID feature, whichever one is safer. Just make sure they are secure and only you can access them. And now to go full tinfoil. Please always make backups of your mobile devices as well. However, don't count on the backups working fully. I've had experience in the past where I restored iPhone backup to a new device and Google Authenticator codes were still lost, since they allowed recovery only to the same device. Basically, when it comes to money, it pays to be paranoid. Now, before we move on to the bonus tip and the special tool I mentioned, I have a simple question for you, fellow investor. Please write in the comments, are you planning to use two-factor authentication after watching this video or not? And please tell me why. And now onto the bonus tip. Please be aware what browser extensions you are installing. When you install a Chrome extension, you're essentially trusting the creator of that extension. You are allowing the extension to live in your browser, potentially watching all of your activities. I'm not saying all of them do this, but the ability is there. Before installing a new extension, make sure to check out the developer's website, read the full description of the extension, and pay special attention to permissions that extensions ask you to grant. Next, check out the reviews and be on the lookout for any oddities. If you don't use the extension, just disable it for safe measure. There have been incidents where browser extensions have compromised user data. It's really easy to disable any unneeded extensions. For Chrome, just go to Chrome:/extensions and switch off the ones you don't use. Remember I talked about all those data breaches before. So, how can you see if your email has been affected by such a breach? Actually, it's quite easy to do. Just go to haveibeenpwned.com and enter your email to see if it has been compromised in the publicly leaked data breaches. Please understand, just because your email is not in the list, it doesn't mean it is safe. It just means it hasn't been featured in any data breaches and leaks that are accessible to the general public. And now, to summarize what we have learned so far. First of all, use a different password for every site and always use a unique password for emails tied to your money-related accounts. Use a different email when registering for each online broker or any other sensitive platform. Use two-factor authentication that uses a Google Authenticator app, and don't install any unnecessary browser extensions. And if you do, research them before installing. Please share this video with any friends or family members who you think could benefit from these simple but effective security tips. We all know that one person who always installs everything, clicks OK on all the pop-ups and then gets mad when their computer starts having problems. If you share this video, then I promise to do a sequel and give you even more effective tips how to secure your accounts. Stay safe, and until next time guys, thank you for watching. Invest with Will West.